everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing the Keto Diet book by Leanne Vogel. This is the book that I have been using my whole entire keto journey. I had heard about keto back, I think, in December, and it was the normal way that people eat ketogenic, where it's a lot of dairy, it's a lot of processed meats or meat in general. I feel like they keep their carbs like below 20 grams of carbs, and you can't go above that. And so a lot of them don't really eat a lot of vegetables, and I don't know, it just seemed very, very strict for me. And it didn't seem that my paleo lifestyle at the time would be able to fit or adjust to eating keto without me kind of having to disbelieve what I had believed in the last few years, where, you know, like eating whole foods and eating things that aren't processed and eating a lot of vegetables and things like that. Didn't embark on the keto journey right away, but what I was doing, I was eating paleo, and I had been doing like Whole30s every few months. If you don't know what the Whole30 is, I'll link the website below. Basically, it's like an elimination diet. And so the first time that I did a Whole30 was back in, it's like 2013 or 2014, maybe, something like that. I had gotten really good results. Like I had lost like 9 of my last stubborn pounds. I felt really, really great. And so every few months I was like, well, I'll just do a Whole30 and I'll just feel great again. And so I'm not sure if it was because when I first did the Whole30, they didn't let you eat like white potatoes, and I didn't like sweet potatoes at that time. So I think I was hardly eating any carbs. But then last December, when both my husband and I we did a Whole30 starting in January. And, you know, we both had like, he had like 20 pounds to lose. I probably had, like 15 or so pounds to lose. And we did this Whole30, and I made exactly the same food for both him and for myself, so we weren't eating anything different, but we were eating a lot of like plantains, white potatoes, because those were allowed now, and sweet potato like fries that I made all the time. He ended up losing 17 pounds, and I was even working out, and my weight did not even budge. Like, I looked exactly the same from when I started from 30 days later. At the time, I just saw that like something wasn't working in my body. I wasn't exactly sure what it was. That is very upsetting when, you know, you think that something is going to work and you have like 15 pounds to lose, and it's after the holidays, and you know, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do everything right, and then you do it all right, and then like nothing worked. Like, it blew my mind. So I was like, okay, I really need to start looking into this keto diet. Some backstory about me is my husband and I, we got married over 2 years ago. It was 2 years in August. And I've always wanted a big family, and so we've been trying to get pregnant for 2 years. Thought something was wrong, like, you know, we're not getting pregnant, what's going on? So we were gonna go start getting checked, and we made an appointment for June, and I actually started this keto diet in May. And when June rolled around, I actually canceled my appointment because I found out that I was pregnant. I feel like I owe it all to the keto diet for getting pregnant. I think that might have fixed something with my hormones. Unfortunately, after I got pregnant, I didn't stick with the keto diet, and I just went back to like eating whatever I wanted. I think that was a bad idea. I did miscarry the baby at 9 weeks. I'm back to the beginning of trying to get pregnant again. So I do think that my hormones must be off, especially since I have a lot of symptoms of my hormones being off. And I think that's one of the reasons why it was hard for me to lose weight, even just eating paleo when I was eating so many carbs. I think that my hormones were just out of whack, and I wasn't eating enough fat with all that. In, I think it was April, I heard about the keto diet by Leanne Vogel and how it was different, where hers was like paleo based. It was still high fat and it was still lower carb, but that it's specifically made for women. Because my husband had such good results with the Whole30 and I was eating the same thing and I didn't, I was like, well, yeah, it must be because I'm a woman, like there's something off. And so this book it is filled with information. Her website is filled with information, and she even has 2 ebooks that I also have. One is called The Keto Beginning and the other is called Fat Fueled. And so if you have any kind of like hormone imbalances or thyroid imbalances or anything like that, I would really encourage you. She even has a podcast called the Keto Diet Podcast. I mean, loads of information about women and how to lose weight or even body positivity. A lot of us just care so much about getting skinny, we're actually not caring about our hormones and our health. I feel like the whole of society just always is like, oh, calories in, calories out. Oh, what do you look like in a bikini? Like things like that. And it's really encouraging actually that, she doesn't think that way, that it's not just something, it's not a quick fix. It's not something that we can always control if our hormones are out of balance. The first time that I did this before I got pregnant, I did lose about maybe 6 pounds or so. I was following her meal plans in here. Then I got pregnant and I kind of gained all that back and some. And so I've been trying to lose that weight since I miscarried, but it's actually been pretty hard. I think that my hormones have been out of whack even more so. Things that are different from this compared to a regular keto diet. She has you eating way more calories than anybody else would ever tell you to eat. Like most of the time it's like, oh, only need to eat 1,200 calories. But with me, even trying to lose weight, I am eating 1,900 calories, sometimes 2,100 if I'm working out. It is amazing. You need to listen to her podcast about calories in, calories out, where it talks about how like if you are only eating a little bit of calories, that you're slowing down your metabolism and eventually your body is just going to stop losing weight. Yes, it works in the beginning, but your body will stop losing weight. One thing that's different is you get to eat a lot of calories with this. Our meal plans are dairy-free and paleo-based. I usually make everything dairy-free. I did go dairy-free again just last month, and I started now adding in heavy cream to my coffee. But I try not to go too far to the extreme of just eating cheese all the time. I find that my body kind of has a lot of inflammation when I eat a lot of dairy. One of the other things that she does is she practices carb ups, which is essential for women most of the time. She has plenty of information in this book. She has a couple different plans. Classic keto would be pretty much the typical keto diet that you would normally eat. And then she has ones for higher protein and she has ones for carb ups. And so I usually do the classic keto, which is, you keep your carbs pretty low and you eat a lot of fat for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks to a month, whenever you feel like you're fat adapted, or if you're testing ketone levels, you can do that as well. I just can tell that I'm not hungry anymore and that I don't get hangry. And then I move over to either a full keto, which is 1 carb up a week, or an adapted fat burner, which is every couple days, or a daily fat burner, which is where you carb up every day. And that doesn't mean that you're gonna go out and eat like tons of pizza. She still wants you to eat healthy carbs, such as plantains or sweet potatoes, or maybe white rice if you can tolerate it. And you're only having a little bit, like a 1/4 gram per body weight. And usually eat it at dinner time. It just really helps so that a lot of people say that on keto, like their hair will start to fall out or their sleep starts to suffer. And this definitely ensures that that won't happen to you. Meal plans are amazing. I'm not gonna go into a whole bunch of details. She does have a list of like, if you have medical conditions, like if you have low thyroid, like you should definitely be practicing carb ups because that could help you in the long run, depending upon what you do. And so hers is just it has just so much information based on even fasting, what your plates should look like, how to know you're in ketosis, how to eat more fat, is what happens if you get the keto flu, what you can do. And it's usually always eating whole foods that she gives you the option for at first. It has a part of eating keto, what you're allowed to eat, what you're not allowed to eat. And when it comes to vegetables, like she says, she doesn't count her kale. So she will eat tons of vegetables and still be in ketosis, even though she's eating, 50 to 80 grams of carbs. She has how to make nut milks, how long you should soak your nuts for so that it's easier to digest. She has how to render fat. She also has how to make bone broth in here. She has quick meals. And then she has a bunch of meal plans. And then in the back is a whole bunch of amazing recipes, and I have made so many of these recipes and I have not been disappointed with any of these. Like, so many of these even my husband loves. There's breakfast recipes, there's snacks, there's dessert, there's bread in here, there's iced coffee and keto lemonade and coconut whipped cream and carrot cake, almond chai truffles, like coconut mounds, and it is an amazing book. And even her other books I actually just purchased. She has a holiday ebook, so I'm going to be trying to do a keto Thanksgiving or keto Christmas. She has keto pumpkin pie, and I have just been really loving following her way of doing it. It works for my body. I'm not saying that it's going to work for everybody, but it works for me. It works for my husband. He's been on keto with me and he had lost 15 pounds in 1 month. I just feel so much better. Like, my mind is working better. I feel like my mood is a lot better when I'm on keto. Just listening to a lot of the podcasts and listening to doctors and nutritionalists that she has like on the podcast, I just really think that this is the way to eat, with being high fat and moderate low carb, or watching your carb intake and making sure you're eating healthier carbs. Yeah, I really encourage you to either just check out her website. I will have all the links down below to her website, to her ebooks, to this cookbook. Let me know in the comments if you have gotten her book, if you've ever heard of her before, if you've watched her on YouTube or anything like that. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.